Nurturing Connections Homeschool, and today we're talking about why we homeschool year-round and how we make it happen. So I'll share some tips with you, some free printables on my site if you're interested in giving it a try, and hopefully answer any questions you have about homeschooling year-round. So we started homeschooling 8 years ago and had no intentions of homeschooling year-round. We actually had a calendar year that looked very similar to the public school system. But then we had life happen along the way and we realized we had to make some changes. So that April, we ended up moving. So we lost about 4 to 6 weeks in there and decided to make that up in the summertime. The following April, I had my daughter. So with a newborn in tow, we decided we were just gonna shut everything down for a bit and then pick up again the following summer. The following December, we moved again, so had to shift things over. And then we just realized we're a year-round homeschooling family. So we finally gave into that. It helped with the planning up front to really look at, okay, where are we starting our school year? And we have all 12 months to do this, so we can take it easy, we can take our breaks. We live in about Central Texas, and so we have very, very hot summers. So we found that we prefer to do school in the summertime when it's really hot and we're gonna be indoors anyway. And then we like taking our breaks in the springtime or in the fall when things are fresher, when things are nicer, and the kids just wanna be outside anyway. So we shift things around, we take longer breaks sometimes for Christmas, and at the end of it all, we get it done. We keep going wherever we left off, and then we take about a couple weeks off and then we just keep going, and works for our family. So if you're thinking about it, a couple of things to keep in mind. You'll want to determine what is your goal. How many days or homeschool days do you want to have accomplished by the end of the school year? For us, we aim at about 170 days. So it's a little less than the public schools, but I do factor in, there's a lot of dead days in the public school system. We know that we have the beginning of the year days and end of the year days and right before holidays days. And so there's a lot of wasted time in there. So I just kind of took off about 8 to 10 days there, and we aim at 170 solid days. So after I did that, then the next thing to do is to map it out on the actual perpetual calendar. So I'm gonna flip the camera in just a bit and kind of show you what that looks like. So this is the perpetual calendar that I personally use. This is gonna be available for limited time for free on my site. So make sure to subscribe. You get free member access to all of my free printables, so you can go check that out. But I made 2 copies of this, and I put 6 months here, beginning with our first month. We usually start right after Labor Day. So I start off with September through February, and then I continue March through August. The next thing I do is I determine how many days we wanna have accomplished by the end of the year. So for us, it's 170, like I mentioned, and I split that in half. So our goal is to get 85 days done by the first 6 months, and then 85 days in the next 6 months after that. So once I've determined that, then I start blocking off our holidays. And so I definitely put in at least 2 to 3 weeks in December, a week in November for Thanksgiving. We put off, cross off any days before Labor Day here. In this case, if we took a trip or if we plan to take a trip, then we keep that also as vacation days. And then we also take off in the end of August. So we want to make sure we get a little break in there, about 3 weeks or so before we start the following school year. So after we've done that, I also look at how many days we have left, and then I try to factor in about 1 week off of school every 6 to 8 weeks. So I count off 6 weeks, and then we take off at least a week and so forth, and it just continues on. And then sometimes I leave some free days here and there because life happens when you have a child with special needs, or if you have doctor's appointments that you have to attend to, or someone gets sick, those types of things. You want to have some leeway there. So I pencil things in with the idea that I may have to change things up, and that's okay. That's part of why we homeschool. We still get it done, but we're able to make adjustments as needed. And then once I do that, then I start circling the days as we accomplish them. So over here, I have my actual lesson plans. And so this is an example of last week for one of my children. And so I fill it in as I look over their work. And then after we've completed a full day, I circle it. At the end of the week, I put how many days were accomplished. So in this particular week, we did have some appointments to attend to, so we only got through 4 days of school. So then I was able to come over here and circle those 4 days here. Now I also have this other printable where I keep track of the total number of days. So sometimes this works better for me, sometimes this one does, or sometimes I just use this for planning and then this is where I'm actually tallying it up. But this just gives me an idea of how many days we've accomplished and how many days we have to go. So for example, in February, the goal was to do 16 full days. And so I'm finding here that if we completed every single day from now to next Friday, we would have accomplished 7 days. So we can actually take another day off sometime. And we actually got some surprise snow in our area today. So we'll probably take off tomorrow and enjoy the snow and then just keep on going. And that's the beauty of homeschooling, is that we get to be flexible, we get to make adjustments as needed, but we still accomplish our goals and move forward with what is most important. So this has been a helpful tool for us. Like I said, I'll include it as a free printable for a limited time on my site. Feel free to head on over and download it. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please make sure to subscribe. I'll be getting up new videos almost every week. Thanks, friends.